Hi everyone, and thanks so much for joining me for another Sims 3 speed video in Sunset Valley, where I am building a casino today. And this is in the same spot on the same lot that I built the VIP lounge, or the exclusive lounge. I can't remember exactly what the name of that lot is called, but this is a replacement venue, and I'm replacing it because I felt like the original building didn't really fit the area. I wasn't very happy with the landscaping of that building, and I feel like this building is just a bit more unique and purposeful, whereas the exclusive lounge was kind of just, there wasn't a whole lot going on there. So I turned this one into I built a new building, made a casino. I've never actually built a casino in The Sims 3 before. This isn't like an extravagant casino because yeah, obviously I don't have a huge lot to work with here. You know, just being mindful of performance as per usual. So I mean, it is a 3-story building, although only the first and second floor are accessible. The third floor is just kind of like a decoration floor. There's nothing up there, and I put the usual hidden room markers and level skip markers, so you won't even see that when you're playing with a lot. And yeah, I mean, it's got, you know, the slot machines, it's got some roulette tables, I think poker tables. I'm not entirely sure exactly which games there are to play with the casino objects that came with, I think they came with the store. But yeah, they're in here, and it kind of operates in a similar way, like it's to the previous building. So it is still a VIP lounge, like that's still the function of the building, or the lot type. And it is also separated by, I guess, celebrity status. So there is a section for celebrities to have exclusive access to. So that's the upper floor, which will have exclusive access for celebrities. And I think I'm only going to make it like 1 star because, I mean, I don't want to be too restrictive. I mean, how many 5-star celebrities are really going to be in this town? I don't think there's going to be many. Not my gameplay anyway. When I play with celebrities, I kind of use NRUS to really control how Sims gain celebrity points and who can become a celebrity. So I generally have it so that certain career types can achieve a celebrity status, and I just leave like the celebrity venues at 1 star because I mean, yeah, I just don't see the point in making like a million venues for each star of celebrity or whatever. So yeah, that's the celebrity functionality of this building, and then yeah, it's just regular access on the ground floor. So yeah, I'm just doing the floor plan here, and I mean, I'm just going to tell you about the history of this build. So this is actually the build that I was working on when I kind of got a bit burnt out again, and I think this is my 4th attempt at building it, and the footage that you're seeing here is actually footage that I did over a month ago, or filmed over a month ago, because I was just not feeling, I was just, like I said, I got burnt out and I just could not be bothered completing it. And so I left it for a month, and then after sitting on it for a month, and I was playing Pokemon in between, I wasn't playing much Sims at all. I don't think I was playing any Sims at all. I was like, you know what, I actually feel like building in The Sims again. I was like, I need to do this build. And then so I started thinking about redoing the thing again. So it would have been for like a 5th time. And so in the lead up to returning to this particular build, I was thinking about, okay, well, what am I going to replace this building with? My only concern with what I had done so far was that it was kind of a bit big and imposing. And I was like, okay, well, this is actually a small town. Do I really want to go with something so big? So I imagined, we'll try to envision another building that was a bit smaller. And I was prepared to, so I loaded up the game preparing to demolish this lot and start again. And when I loaded it up, I was like, it's actually not bad. I'm going to keep it, and that's a good thing because it means I don't have to spend time, you know, thinking of another floor plan and another design for the building. So I'm actually really glad that I did decide to keep the shell of the building. I think I only completed, before I took another break, I completed the shell and some of the interior, maybe just the downstairs bar. So I'm glad I kept all that progress because yeah, in the end I was just happy with it and decided to finish it. So you can see it's also kind of similar to the previous building that was on this lot, which is still going to be available for download if you prefer that one. But it's similar to the previous building in that it has like an atrium design in the center of the building that is where the bar is. There's going to be a piano there for the pianist that spawns on these lots if you have the piano. And then there's also like separate rooms for the gaming machines, and then there's a cloakroom. I did want it to be quite fancy looking and look kind of exclusive. And so a lot of the detailing that I did in the previous build, I took note of that and kind of carried that over to this building here. I even kept some of the wall textures and the floor textures that I used in the previous build and used them again in this build just to save me some time, because I don't think there was really anything wrong with them. I quite like the color scheme. I did change it up a little bit for the ground floor because I did want there to be a bit of a delineation between the ground floor design and the second story, or the second story where the celebrity I guess hangout is. So the ground floor is more like a red and gold theme, and then the second floor is where the has more of like a lilac and silver color. I think it's a lilac. It's like a purple, like a light purple and a silver color scheme. So yeah. Also, yeah, with the landscaping, I was just so much happier with the landscaping on this lot because, like I said, I think when I did the bakery build, like I just wanted to focus on specific areas within Sunset Valley and make them have a cohesive look, and have the landscaping look like the landscaping of one lot look like it complements the landscaping of the other lots that surround it. And so this landscaping here, I've really carried it over from the bistro and the bakery. It's very similar landscaping. It's similar landscaping that is on the I think it's Mirabello Plaza, where the cinema and the bookstore and all that are. It's very similar landscaping to that because I like that landscaping. I think it's quite cute, and if it isn't broken, don't fix it. So I'm just using that landscaping. I'm adding a few bits of detail here and there, but for the most part, it is the same and being carried over. So the same floor, ground textures and tiles, and the same wrought iron fencing, the same trees, like similar plants. I have changed up the plants a little bit, but just for consistency, I think it looks nicer. And yeah, I'm doing the exterior textures here with the brick on the first. I'm getting a bit confused with the story. So usually I would call the ground floor the ground floor, and then the first floor and the second floor. But I know some other areas call the ground floor the first floor, and then the second floor, and then the third floor, the third floor. So I'm just going to say on the ground floor, it's kind of like this stony texture, and then on the first and second floor, it's like a brick. And that stony texture also goes up the, I guess the, kind of like those dormer things that stick out the side of the building. When I was thinking of designs for this building, like kind of get you looking for some inspiration, I was looking at kind of old hotel buildings. I wanted to, my idea was that this was like, at one point it was a hotel, or maybe it is still a hotel. You can pretend it's still a hotel, and that there's a casino on the 2 floors below, and perhaps the hotel is on the top floor. But those are the buildings that I was looking at for inspiration when I designed this build here. I don't think it's really based on any particular building. Usually what I do is I just look at a whole bunch of different buildings and kind of make a Frankenstein building of my own, taking different features from some buildings and, features that I like, and then just kind of merging them together. It's also, at the moment, it's kind of got this very light orange accent to the windows and I'm going to call it the cornice at the top. It's just a fence that that surrounds the top of the surrounds the roof, but it's kind of like this light orangey paint. I do change that a bit later on because it looked a little too clean and a little too bright, so I do change it to a bit more of a worn looking texture and darken it a little bit. And you can see I'm putting some of the usual benches out the front there. Can't skip out on that Sunset Valley detail, and then just some little planters around the side of the building that is facing the ocean, so not the side that's facing the alleyway. It does kind of, because the building is reasonably tall and quite long, it does create like a nice alleyway effect behind it, in between the bistro and the bakery, so that's you know, quite a nice little feature there. And yeah, I've pretty much finished with the landscaping, so you can see what I did there. I just kind of created like this long kind of green space with lots of bushes and stuff. And now I'm moving on to the interior. So this is where I'm creating the atrium. I'm just putting in some lights so that I can see. And we've got the columns, so these 2-story columns that make the atrium look really grand, and just filling in the floor space there. So yeah, I think this is very similar to what I did in the last build, although the atrium, I don't think it was like, from what I remember, the atrium was only on like one side of the building, like it didn't wrap around the entire building, or the entire room, so I think it is a bit different. But yeah, I've put in the wall textures, and so they were just textures that I grabbed from the previous building, just recolored a little bit to more of a red and a gold theme, red, gold and black. And yeah, this is just looking for the right patterns that I want to use. This is a really nice patterned tile. Well, these are very nice pattern tiles from, I believe, Late Night. I think the whole purpose of them is that they're supposed to be good for like vampire manors or vampire houses or something like that, but they just look nice, like old kind of ornate floor tiles. I think similar ones came with the Vampires pack in The Sims 4. So I think that's what the purpose of these tiles coming with Late Night was for, is to kind of go with that kind of vampire theme. Now I'm putting in the bar, and of course that's going kind of in a central space there. I'm going with the usual NPC serviced bar, although I do have a mod in The Sims 3 where you can turn any bar into a serviced bar. And yeah, it's got that nice kind of light underneath the bar that kind of runs along the bottom of it. That's like I changed that to a nice red hue. I'm putting some counters behind the bar. I think I did that in the previous build, and I kind of just carried that idea over, but then I just didn't like it in the end. So I feel like the counters look a bit too bulky. So a bit later on, I do come back and change them to some coffee tables, like those coffee tables that go with the sectional sofas. I feel like they just look a lot nicer. They're not as bulky, and I stacked a few of those on top of each other just to look like a nice built-in kind of surface that built into the shelf with the drinks on it. And this room here is going to be where some like casino games are. I'm not really familiar with like gambling. I don't really gamble. In fact, I don't gamble at all. I don't particularly enjoy it. I have done it a few times, but I mean, I don't find it that interesting. But where was I going with this? Oh, I was going to say, because I don't really know the names of the games or anything like that. Like I know the slot machines and roulette and poker, and I can't remember. I think there's another one, but I can't remember the name of it. There's like 3 different games. So there's a space for those downstairs, and then I'm just doing some upstairs work here, and this footage here is where I return to the build. So this is after me taking a break from it and working on the upstairs bar. So this is going to be the celebrity bar. And again, very similar color scheme to, in fact, I think it's almost exactly the same as the previous build. It's got red in here at the moment, but then I change it to the purpley color. And it's also a very similar setup. So we've got the bar as the focal point of this room here, with a like a shelf for drinks, and then so I'm just lifting this up, lifting it up to cover the window, because I just was kind of annoyed about the window being on that wall. Like I felt like a window behind the bar was a bit awkward looking. It didn't really go with the look. Like I don't know. I just wanted the drinks shelf to be there, and only the drinks shelf. So I just had it cover the window. I mean, the window looks good from the outside, like it definitely is needed for the exterior of the building, but on the inside, like it just doesn't help. So I covered that up, and that's where I put the coffee tables underneath it. Raised those up slightly so it looks like they're floating a little bit, where they're built into the wall and floating off it. But on the downstairs bar, when I take away the counters downstairs and replace them with the coffee tables, I stack a few of the coffee tables on top of each other. Now I'm putting in some bar tables and bar stools, and of course recoloring these so that they go with the color scheme. You can see there's a bit more purple here. And I went with the purple. I think the purple and the silver and black combo really go well with the light purple and silver and black combo go really well with each other, but also because it's on the drinks shelf behind the bar there, it's like this nice kind of color scheme that you can't recolor, so I may as well just kind of work with it. And then there's a seating area as well by the bar. This all gets rearranged a little bit, the seating area anyway, because I realized when I tried to put some games in the gaming space, it wasn't all fitting, so I had to move one of the card games or one of the chip games to this area. So what I'm doing here, this kind of changes a little bit, but I mean, you can just see the process. I could have actually cut this out because it does change. So, but for some reason I decided to leave it in and talk over it, even though I have nothing interesting to say about it really. Here's a rug, and I'm recoloring the rug, and I do keep a rug with this kind of furniture set up here, but I do change it to a bigger one once I move this furniture anyway. Where it is now, it actually just moves to where I'm trying to put the games here. So they actually look all right there. It's just the issue is trying to slot seats to them. The seats weren't slotting because they were too close to a doorway. When I'm placing objects like this, I do like to do it with move objects off to make sure, especially if it's an object that needs a seat snapped to it. I always do that with move objects off, because that way I know if it'll be functional or not, because if you use move objects to snap with a seat snapped to something, and then you move it to a space where the seat won't be able to move, then the sim won't be able to use that seat. So I always do that with move objects off to make sure it actually can actually go there. There's like where I moved that gaming table next to the bar, I wasn't actually able to place it there with the seats all attached, and so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm attaching the seat, and then the last one doesn't go on the edge there, so I have to put it on and then move it back. So I assume that still works because it let me do it with move objects off. So yeah, hoping that last seat on the very edge there still works. Now I'm adding the slot machines to the upstairs part, and I mean, just a little bit of culture knowledge for you. We don't actually call these slot machines, we call these pokies. Which I don't even know where that name comes from. It just sounds so stupid to me. Like, a slot machine makes much more sense than pokies. Like, I don't know what pokies refers to, but some pokey machines, and then there's another gaming table in there, and just some seating areas. Tons and tons of these sideboards or sofa tables, just to fill up some space and make the area look more full and decorated, but just no over the top decorations. Like, I am mindful of the performance of this world, and trying to do things simply decorated rather than over the top kind of stuff. So yeah, I really hope that doesn't bother anyone, because I mean, when I play, it doesn't bother me like that. I can't see every aspect of a building, like if there are some parts of the building that are inaccessible or blocked off, like that's fine to me, but I know of some other people when they do builds like these. They will kind of go all out and furnish and decorate the whole building, like all 3 or 4 floors of the building. But I mean, that would take me a really long time to do, and I just don't have the time or the energy to do that. But I also think it's just for performance, it's just a bit impractical. So yeah, I've put in this big chandelier in the atrium here, just using a debug light so that it looks like the light is actually breaks through the floor there, like the split level actually works, but it's just the illusion created by the debug light. But it's a nice illusion anyway, and it works well. So putting that in there, just putting a couple of flower vases next to the drink shelf, and just another end table. I had to put just like a sectional sofa in that corner there, but then I just decided to replace it with an end table instead, or a sideboard. And changing that light to magenta. Is it magenta? Yes, magenta. And then just a couple of bits of detail for the coffee table here. So we've got some flowers, and then just a tray with a couple of drinks on it. And then just putting in some wall lights for the rest of the upper level, the first floor. And yeah, these are just nice lights. I think they might be from Roaring Heights. They kind of look a bit Art Deco, but I'm not entirely sure where they came from. And then I'm going in with the bathrooms in a minute, I think. I'm just continuing on with the lights, but I'm putting in some doors here for the bathrooms. The window you can see there, it's actually a 2 window. It's a single window, but I used a wall to kind of split it in half. And it worked, so you can see that the window is still functional, but it's actually a 2-tile window with a wall going in between it. And yeah, so it was nice to see that it still worked. The only issue that I had with it was the trying to find a curtain for it, because it's a bit stupid, or a bit ridiculous having a window like to a toilet with no privacy. Like, that would just be weird. Even though I guess the Sims don't care, but it does kind of make me uncomfortable just thinking about a toilet with no window covering. Like, a toilet with a window is nice because it lets a lot of light in, but it either needs to be frosted glass, like well frosted glass, or completely covered, like with a blind or a curtain or something, because yeah. Now I'm moving back downstairs, and just putting in some more bar tables. Then this is where I'm actually putting the piano in. There we go, there's the piano. There's a nice big space there for the piano, and then just some lights for the tables. And after I've done that, I think I might be getting out the statues, just some decorative statues for the casino, just so it looks a bit more decorated, and kind of these nice I think they came with these statues here. They came with World Adventures, and they are supposed to be for like the France world, but they're just nice. Like, very pretty statues, and nice and imposing, so they take up a lot of space and add some much needed detail to a really big room like this. And then I'm revisiting the bar behind, or the bar on the ground floor and the space behind it. So you can see I've added some of those coffee tables again, and I'm just retexturing, and then I decided to stack them. And so it looks like the shelf there, with all the bottles on it, is just like sitting nicely on that stack. And I originally had and I'm adding some statues as well, these cat statues. So originally I added some gold kind of curtains behind it, but I changed those to red. I thought the gold was a bit ugly, so I think it looks nicer with the red, and then I recolored the statues to be gold instead. And then here I'm moving to the entryway, and just adding in a seat and some end tables. Like, it's really nothing too exciting here. It's just, the usual entryway kind of decorations with seating, mirrors, plants, lights, that kind of thing. these nice do I stick with those flowers? No, I don't stick with those flowers. I bring in some other flowers in the end. I thought I stuck with those flowers from not even going to say the name, because once again there's a name of something that I can't remember, but from one of the stuff packs. And then this is just the cloakroom. I just like to add these two lots like this, like a really fancy lot, because I imagine there would be like a cloakroom there. It's just a space just for decoration. It just kind of like it's kind of useless space, but it's like a nice little detail to a build. I mean, you could even add like a counter there, and that spawns an NPC. I'm pretty sure there's like generic counters that spawn NPCs, and you can pretend that someone works there at the club, as like, you know, they work in the cloakroom. So there is that option there. And then moving on to the downstairs bathrooms, which are really nothing that exciting. I feel like bathrooms are the most boring thing to even talk over and even decorate. Actually, no, I don't mind decorating bathrooms. I just think they're boring to talk over. Like a bathroom's just a bathroom. It's not really that interesting. And now I'm putting some gaming tables, some chip tables, I don't know what they're called, down here. You can see I had another issue with the spacing of the tables to make sure that they could all fit seats on them, and then putting some pokey machines down here as well. I just recolored these ones to gold, because they were silver from, copied over from the silver color that is upstairs. So there's 8 slot machines in total in this build, and there are 1, 2, 3, I think 5 gaming tables, with 2 exclusive to the celebrity area, so they can kind of do some gambling in private. And then there's 3 downstairs. I don't know if that's enough. Like I said, I've never built a casino. I don't know what people expect when they, you know, with the Sims 3 casino. But yeah. I'm just doing some slight adjustments to the color schemes of the doors, and these doors here, they're really cool. They've got like little like a little card decoration or like design on them, so I thought that was very appropriate for a casino. And then here I'm recoloring the orange kind of paint that I was talking about earlier, saying when I said it was a bit too bright and colorful, I just kind of toned it down a little bit and changed the texture to something a bit more worn. I'm using this sign here as like a sign for the casino. It is kind of sticking out a little bit, but I do move that a bit later on so that it's off to the side of the building, because I felt like it just looked a bit stupid the way it is at the moment. It looks nicer when it's tucked away off to the side of the building. And then yeah, some seats for the alleyway here, which I really like. I just love an alleyway. I think it's so cute. I'm just putting a few of these posters as well as some seating, and then that is pretty much it for the build. Actually, yeah, the footage for me is stopped, so I guess this is where the panning shots are going to be. So I'm going to leave you to enjoy these and say thanks so much for watching. I haven't actually created a name, like come up with a name for this building yet, so by the time I upload it, it will have a name. And it will be available to download. And yeah, really appreciate you sticking around to watch. And yeah, I don't have anything else to say. It's been a while since I've done one of these voiceovers, so I can't remember what I need to say at the end. But yeah, I will leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, and I'll talk to you later.